Hey guys, let's get more news about Lakers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Lakers newsletter, Jared Vanderbilt is back, but will he help? Hey everyone, I'm Dan Woik and welcome back to the Times Lakers newsletter, where we're marching toward trade season with the team about to get back-ish, an important-ish rotation player ahead of a tough stretch of schedule. This week, we'll, again, talk about the deadline, this time through the lens of Jared Vanderbilt, the Lakers owning who they are as the first step to recovery, and some final thoughts on an annual tradition I dread, the Grammys trip. The big news around the Lakers this week is the scheduled return of Vanderbilt, the forward set to play for the first time in nearly 12 months after a foot injury suffered last February led to surgeries on both feet this summer and a lengthy return-to-play program. Vanderbilt, who has been fully cleared, should be available Saturday night when the Lakers begin their Grammys trip in San Francisco against the Golden State Warriors. It's been a long journey, tough process, but I'm excited just to be in the position I'm in right now, Vanderbilt said Wednesday in his first interview since Media Day in late September. Details around the injury still are scarce, and there still are some questions, namely about Rob Pelinka's preseason claim that the Lakers had a lot of optimism that Vanderbilt would be playing when the real games start. Wednesday, Vanderbilt said the long recovery wasn't any longer than he expected, though knee swelling in December briefly stalled his comeback. Vanderbilt said his return was based on a number of factors, including him meeting certain benchmarks and testing more so than hitting any firm target dates. If that sounds vague, well, it is. Vanderbilt didn't really elaborate. Regardless, the plan is to ease him back into the rotation, where the Lakers can deploy him as a versatile defensive weapon who can create offense by forcing turnovers and scoring off smartly timed cuts. And if he makes open threes, all the better. Here's the other thing, if the Lakers decide to be active at the trade deadline, it's a pretty decent chance their wing depth will be changing. And, like we've detailed in this space repeatedly, the chances of the Lakers dealing Vanderbilt are severely hampered because of his injury history and the widely expected tax on including Vanderbilt in a deal. Vanderbilt has 3 years remaining on his deal, the kind of long-term money that's poison in trades. Multiple NBA executives believe the cost to include Vanderbilt in a trade is a first-round pick, meaning he's far more valuable to the Lakers as a usable player than he would be as part of a trade in which they would have to add assets and essentially be overpaying for whatever they got back. It's hard to think he'll be able to change that perception in a couple of weeks, the rust from being sidelined 11+ months basically guaranteed to be an issue. After the Lakers lost to the Clippers on Sunday, LeBron James and J.J. Redick mentioned how slim their margins are, a sort of fancy way of saying the Lakers need to be closer to perfect than their opponents to win on most nights. The comments weren't surprising to anyone who has been around them the last 3 years. James has said this a lot, but with the trade deadline coming, the comments were amplified. Like any problem, recognizing it is an important step to accepting it. Still, Redick sounded rightfully envious Wednesday when talking about the Boston Celtics style and the advantages great teams around the league create. There's a reason those teams win as much as they do, because they create margins every night. And for us, a team that struggles to create margins at times, we've got to be really cognizant of our turnovers, Redick said. We've got to be cognizant of keeping them off the offensive glass. We've got to be cognizant of us getting extra possessions on the offensive glass. We've got to be great because they are elite starting quarters, finishing quarters. There's 8 segments of the game. Celtics coach Joe Mazzulla places an emphasis on that. That group has been together. They do a great job executing to begin quarters and to end quarters. And they, more often than not, win those margins. And so that's not even including the disparity that will happen tomorrow in three-point shooting. So they're gonna launch. And we have to do a good job of scoring at the rim and limiting our mid-range and taking threes. Lakers could help Suns land Jimmy Butler, but there is a certain price. The Phoenix Suns and Miami Heat are potentially still discussing the framework of a trade that sends Jimmy Butler to the Suns. However, the deal might require additional finesse to get across due to Bradley Beal's contract. The Heat have been unwilling to accept Beal's supermax contract in exchange for Butler, but there is a way to make acquiring Beal more appealing for the Heat. The Los Angeles Lakers can get involved and help the Heat open up more space by taking a veteran guard off their hands who has disappointed this season while opening up a much-needed scoring role which Beal would be better suited for. In addition, the Heat can also land some frontcourt reinforcements and draft compensation, which would be an incredible return for a star on an expiring contract who requested a trade. The Lakers get to add a needed guard scorer like Terry Rozier, while also adding a first-round pick for facilitating this deal by letting go of Rui Hachimura to the Heat. The Heat land a versatile forward, a high-scoring guard like Beal, and a former point guard Gabe Vincent who fits like a glove into their system. Meanwhile, the Suns complete their quest to land Jimmy Butler. The Suns have worked hard to somehow have a contending roster with few future draft assets and no roster flexibility. They somehow added Nick Richards to the squad to have a four-center roster, as they still have no suitable destination to send Jusuf Nurkic. They also dealt their only remaining draft pick for 3 lesser valuable ones, which could come in handy in making this deal work and bringing them Butler. Butler is averaging 17.0 points, 5.2 rebounds, and 4.8 assists this season. His numbers aren't representative of his talent as he's been sandbagging on the Heat. If he joins the Suns, he might just be the perfect third star to have alongside high-volume scorers like Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. Butler will be able to fill a lot of their defensive gaps by being a hustle player, elite defender, competent rebounder, and even an on-ball playmaker. His game is far more versatile than Beal's, although he might not be as good a shooter as Beal. But they're comparable scorers with Butler still excelling in downhill situations. His scoring numbers likely won't spike beyond the 17 he has this season, but his overall impact will greatly enhance the Suns into being credible playoff threats. The Lakers have limited avenues of improving their roster themselves, clearly unwilling to commit to LeBron James and Anthony Davis at their current rate of success. James and Davis are already making their peace with another trade deadline where their GM chooses to make no moves, but they could get some sort of reinforcements as part of a facilitating team. Terry Rozier is averaging 12.0 points, 4.0 rebounds, and 2.9 assists in a tough season for the Heat, failing to fit into their schemes without Butler's on-court influence and primarily due to the increase in Tyler Herro's influence. He hasn't looked comfortable in Miami, but the Lakers could try and extract the talent everyone knows he has. Playing alongside LeBron and Davis will give Rozier more offensive space on the court. The offensive style the Lakers are trying to play will fit Rozier well, as he has the confidence to let shots fly while being a dynamic on-ball passer when required. He could be a star sixth man on a Lakers team that gets all its guard production from Austin Reeves alone. The pick they receive could have potential value in another trade, which finally brings the Lakers the center they've wanted since the summer. The Heat's rejection of Bradley Beal seems entirely based on the contract of the star and nothing else. When you think about it, a middling offensive team like the Heat could definitely use Beal to spruce up their capabilities as the team has become overly dependent on Tyler Herro to create offense. They need a player like Beal in the backcourt to share offensive responsibilities to make them a threat. Beal is averaging 17.1 points, 3.6 rebounds, and 3.3 assists amidst a fluctuating role on the Suns. He is no longer wanted in Phoenix, but Beal has wanted to play for the Heat for years. There's no question he'd be motivated to live up to his contract value in Miami and embrace the team's culture to become a standout veteran who also helps develop Herro into a number one option. Rui Hachimura is averaging 12.2 points and 5.2 rebounds this season, adding another big body to the frontcourt to play the Heat's trademark style. Gabe Vincent was born out of Heat culture and returns to the team after 2 rough seasons with the Lakers. This deal also lands the Heat the most valuable remaining pick the Suns have, so it incentivizes them by giving them 3 win-now players and a draft pick. Overthinking Beal's contract right now might be foolish, as if he's successful on the Heat, it could lead to greater team success and a potential future deal on the table as well. Lakers stars frustrated over lack of improvements as trade deadline nears. The Los Angeles Lakers stars feel like they need more to compete for a championship this season. On Wednesday, ESPN's NBA insider Shams Charania reported LeBron James and Anthony Davis are worried the team has not done enough to be competitive down the stretch. With the February 6 trade deadline a little more than 2 weeks away, league sources told ESPN that James and Davis are growing concerned about the Lakers' ability to make significant roster upgrades with their 2 tradable first-rounders, Charania wrote. James, a 4-time champion, and Davis, a 1-time champ, have expressed that they want the franchise to make moves to contend for a championship, with the co-stars believing the Lakers are potentially a piece or 2 away, sources said. While the Lakers have canvassed the league for potential deals as the trade deadline is approaching, they haven't made a move since adding Dorian Finney-Smith in late December. In recent weeks, coach J.J. Redick and James have both noted that the Lakers have no margin for error in games due to a thin roster. Jared Vanderbilt and Christian Wood were expected to be key pieces of the team's rotation but have missed the entire season so far. The Lakers are currently 23-18 and sit in 6th place in the Western Conference. The general feeling around the NBA is that the league is wide open this year. The Cleveland Cavaliers and Oklahoma City Thunder are outpacing everyone else, but it's really anyone's title to take. The Lakers will keep attempting to improve the roster, but if they can't, James and Davis likely won't be happy. Jared Vanderbilt breaks his silence ahead of potential season debut versus Warriors on Saturday. At long last, after being out for nearly a full calendar year, Los Angeles Lakers forward Jared Vanderbilt is reportedly set to make his season debut this Saturday against the Golden State Warriors. He told the media that he's feeling good and that he's trying to return to his pre-injury self. Vanderbilt suffered a foot injury on February 1, 2024, in a road victory over the Boston Celtics. The ailment kept him out for the rest of the season, and he ended up undergoing off-season surgery, which pushed back his return date this season. But any hope that he could return relatively early this season was extinguished when it was reported in early December that he had experienced fluid in his left knee. As a result, he started targeting early January for his return. Early January came and went, but he did get cleared for full-court activities with contact and got some practice time in with the Lakers' G League affiliate. 2 things the 23-18 Lakers have lacked are perimeter defense and overall energy. They're things Vanderbilt can supply them with, just as he did when he originally arrived in a February 2023 trade. He played a key role in Los Angeles getting hot after the All-Star break and reaching the Western Conference Finals that year. Since coming to the Lakers, he has averaged 6.1 points and 5.7 rebounds in 21.9 minutes a game. He has the ability to guard players at 3 or 4 different positions, as well as help out on the boards and be a finisher in transition. The team, of course, has been the subject of plenty of trade rumors. It is generally believed it wants to acquire a facilitating point guard and a reserve big man from the trade market, and it has reportedly been interested in centers such as Walker Kessler and Jonas Valanciunas. Another name to watch is Bruce Brown, a guard who has long been on the Lakers' radar. If the Toronto Raptors buy him out following the trade deadline, another possibility, according to Jake Fisher, could be the Lakers signing him off the buyout market, although the Denver Nuggets are also a candidate to do the same. Boston Celtics, 30-13, at Los Angeles Clippers, 24-18, game number 44, January 22, 25. The Celtics continue their road trip with that stop at the Intuit Dome to take on the Los Angeles Clippers. This is the second stop on their 4-game road trip that began with a 40-point win over the Golden State Warriors. This is the second and final meeting between these 2 teams this season. The Celtics won the first game 126-94 in Boston on November 25 in Kristaps Porzingis' first game of the season. The Celtics and Clippers tied the series 1-1 last season, with each team winning on the road. The Celtics are 94-47 overall all-time against the Clippers, and they are 45-29 when playing in Los Angeles. This is the first of back-to-back games. The Celtics will play the Los Angeles Lakers on Thursday. They are 5-2 in the first of back-to-back games, and they are 2-0 when the first game is on the road. The Celtics remain second in the East, but are falling further behind the first-place Cavaliers. They are now 6.5 games behind first-place Cleveland. They are 2.5 games ahead of the third-place Knicks and 5 games ahead of fourth-place Milwaukee. The Celtics are 15-5 on the road and 6-4 in their last 10 games. They are 7-4 against Western Conference teams and are coming off a win in their last game. The Clippers are fifth in the West, 11 games behind first-place Oklahoma City, and 2 games behind fourth-place Denver. They are 1 game ahead of the sixth-place Lakers and 1.5 games ahead of seventh-place Dallas. They are 15-7 at home and 5-5 in their last 10 games. They are 8-2 against Eastern Conference teams and are coming off a loss in their last game after winning their previous 4 games. The Celtics are playing the second game of a 4-game road trip that will continue with the Lakers back-to-back on Thursday and then at Dallas to finish the road trip. They then face Houston and Chicago at home before 3 more on the road through New Orleans, Philadelphia, and Cleveland. Then 1 game at home against Dallas before playing at New York and Miami and home against San Antonio before the All-Star break. The Clippers are playing in the third game of a 5-game homestand. They beat the Lakers and lost to the Bulls in the first 2 games and will face Washington on Thursday in back-to-back games and close out the homestand against Milwaukee. They then have a 4-game road trip through Phoenix, San Antonio, Charlotte and Toronto before 4 games at home against the Lakers, Indiana, Utah, and Memphis. They will go on a 7-game road trip after the All-Star break. Originally, the Celtics had no one on the injury list, but since then, they have added 3 rotation players. Porzingis, illness, and Horford, toe, are both questionable. Since the Celtics have back-to-back games, I'm assuming that one of them will be out, but it's possible that both sit this one out and play on Thursday. Jrue Holiday is also listed as questionable with a shoulder injury. If all 3 are out, I'm guessing that Sam Hauser and Neemias Queta will start and Derek White will move to the point. For the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard has been ruled out for injury management since the Clippers are playing back-to-back also. Ivica Zubac is out with an eye injury. PJ Tucker is not with the team. Chris Dunn, knee, is out, as is Norman Powell, back. Nicholas Batum, finger, and James Harden, groin, are listed as questionable. I have no idea which questionable players will be out and which will play or who will actually get the start in their place. The lineup below is just a guess on my part. Lakers receive big update on NBA trade rumors for $251 million star. The Los Angeles Lakers are attempting to make an NBA title pursuit behind LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Leading Los Angeles to a championship in 2020, the star duo is still playing at a high level 5 years later. In his 22nd NBA season, James is averaging 23.7 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 9.0 assists. As for Davis, the 5-time All-Defensive star is averaging 25.7 points, 11.9 rebounds, and 3.5 assists. As they remain in pursuit of another championship, James and Davis reportedly want the Lakers to make win-now moves before the NBA trade deadline. LeBron James, Anthony Davis growing concerned with Lakers' ability to make significant upgrades, ESPN's Shams Charania wrote on X. Amid the growing trade rumors in Los Angeles, the team received a big update on one potential candidate. According to Mark Bartelstein of Priority Sports, there is no truth to the rumors that his client, Phoenix Suns star Bradley Beal, would waive his no-trade clause to join Los Angeles. Via Dwayne Rankin of the Arizona Republic, Bartelstein said, the reports that are out there are created out of thin air, that Beal would lift his no-trade clause if Milwaukee, Denver, Miami, or the Los Angeles Lakers were trade destinations. Because Beal is in the third year of a 5-year, $251 million contract, there is reason to believe the Lakers would not deal for the three-time NBA All-Star even if he had interest in joining them. It was initially reported by John Gambadoro of Arizona Sports 98.7 FM Phoenix that Beal would waive his no-trade clause for Los Angeles, Miami, and Denver. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Bradley Beal? Leave your opinion in the comments.